to say that, oh, the first 8 are good because those are the Paramount ones, or oh, the first 4 of them, those are the good ones, or I like this one because it's dumb fun, but the rest are... Shut the fuck up. I want to tell everybody that as the leading authority on all things ever, specifically though Friday the 13th, you're a dumbass and you need to shut the fuck up and let me talk because you're in my world now. That's it. See, that's what you guys are missing. I don't want to see some fucking limp-wristed dandy try and talk about Friday the 13th and be like, I feel like this one has some good parts, but ultimately I just like other ones better. Fuck that. Fuck that. If you're at the bottom, you suck. If you're at the top, you're the best of the best, and people can eat your shit. That's this fucking world, okay? I'm angry. I'm fucking mad. But I'm also having a great time celebrating Friday the 13th in June. Jason Voorhees, happy birthday. You big fucking love. We love you. We miss you. Where are you? They won't let us see you anymore. They took you away from us. Do we think it needs the black morph mask underneath? Or do we think it's fine like this?
I think it's fine. I mean, on camera, your eyes don't really show a whole lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Emma, could you take a look, see what you think? I know you're not a big Jason fan, but you have a...
His eyes don't really show a lot.
Yeah, I can't see your eyes.
Really?
Really. Maybe if it was like big on like a TV, but I can't imagine it. Come closer. Still can't see him. It's out of focus.
Test. Peaking audio. Testing if the audio is good. Testing if the angles are good. Let's see if we can... you can't even really tell. I'm still getting a little bit of natural light coming in from this window. Got a lot of sun today too, which is perfect because we're doing a Friday the 13th expose. Going to be covering the entirety of the Friday the 13th franchise today. You know what? I'm wearing a Halloween shirt. Give me just 1 minute. You know, it's summer. Sun's out, guns out. I've been working out, so I'm trying to flex on you guys. Like, literally. I'm trying to flex on you guys, you know? Can you tell I've been working out? Either way. Also, my fucking armpits. I grabbed this right beforehand. I meant to put it on before I started filming. But yeah, I took that shirt off. I haven't showered in 3 days, and I don't make a habit out of that. Just lately, I've been on one, and I haven't wanted to stop the creative flow that I've been going through. But Dr. Squatch Coconut Castaway, by the way, in case anyone wants to smell like Dante Graves, and also Coors Banquets, as seen in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. June. It's right now. I'm recording this in May. Don't know when it's going to air, but in June it is Jason Voorhees, our beloved autistic campsite slasher. It is his real deal, actual, true birthday, June 13th. It is a Friday the 13th. Wasn't he born in like 1940 something? I remember also hearing once that he shares a birthday with Donald Trump, or at least it's like really close, which is interesting. And I think since Donald Trump is currently in the process of ass-fucking us, I'm gonna cut that part out. I just ranted about Donald Trump, but we're talking about Jason Voorhees right now, so let's keep it that way. But I think he's planning on some sort of big, gaunty kind of like parade in his honor. And we're gonna not discuss any of that. Mostly, not even for you guys. It's not like oh, I want to keep it apolitical. It's for my own sanity. I just want to talk about Jason Voorhees right now. But since Friday the 13th, this coming one is probably gonna be overshadowed by whatever stupid fucking parade is gonna happen for that guy. This will stand as for all of my sane Friday the 13th aficionados. We will have our own little birthday celebration for somebody we love much more, and that's Jason Voorhees. This intro kind of sucks. We're moving on from it. Basically, it is Jason Voorhees' actual real deal birthday in this coming June. Okay, and it's actually on a Friday, which is amazing. And so I felt like there was no better time than to gush about how much I love Friday the 13th right now. I felt like I've saved it. It's been in my back pocket waiting to come out. I'm working on some fun Friday the 13th related stuff for the channel, but you know, it wouldn't be a true celebration of Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th if I didn't talk about the movies themselves. A lot of people have been saying that I'm some sort of like lightweight. Let the record show. I drank these earlier. This is my 4th beer, okay? So when I start getting a little loopy, and I know I also asked when I did the Nosferatu thing, I said, you guys like it when I do one where I'm kind of like inebriated, it kind of like loosens me up a bit, I can be more honest, I can be more real about some of these things. Do you guys like that? And people seem to say that they did, but there are also people who are saying like, oh, you're total lightweight, you drank like 2 and you're already fucking... You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know what, I know what I'm talking about all the time, especially when it comes to Friday the 13th. There will be people who will accuse me of being a fake fan, of being of not knowing as much or whatever. I would like the record to show. You know, I was a Halloween fan. It was the first of the big ones I ever saw. But when I was a kid, if we could pull out 4th grade me, 4th grade Dante Graves right now, he would tell you that his favorite horror movie character was Jason Voorhees. He would say his favorite franchise is Friday the 13th, and he would say that his favorite movie was Friday the 13th Part 3, 3D, okay? And that would be his opinions. And I got older, I got a little wiser, I got more attached to other characters, you know? But Jason is something that I think, and maybe this is a male thing. I think it is. And I've always been very comfortable in female spaces, and so I've always kind of heard their opinions about things. Got it? And I know that there are female Jason fans out there, and if you are out there, please sound off in the comments. But I think Jason, specifically Jason, has such a huge male following, and I don't know why that is. I've long tried to kind of like psychoanalyze the theories behind who your favorite horror movie icon is. And I've never been able to place why Michael Myers has a huge female following, and there's like a lot of women that find him kind of sexy, and why, you know, Chucky is loved by kids, and Leatherface isn't really liked by anyone except very old people. Like older, like elder horror aficionados, they like Leatherface the best. Freddy Krueger is also kind of popular with women and kids. And then Jason is like guys. Don't know why that is. And I'm not trying to say that there are not other people that fall outside this purview. It's just an interesting thing. But when I was growing up, Jason was absolutely my favorite. And the Friday the 13th movies, I rented these movies ad fucking nauseum from Blockbuster Video. I have seen all of the movies I'm about to discuss, all of them, without exception, all of them, an insane amount of times. Like, I'm talking 20, 30 times minimum per movie. I would put them on as comfort food. I'd put them on to fall asleep to. I'd put them on the minute I got home from school. I'd put them on if friends were over. I'd put them on when I was feeling down. I'd put them on when I'm feeling good. I'd put them on in the summer. I'd put them on in the winter. I put them on in the October. I put them on everything. So I fucking love Friday the 13th. So whenever I say anything that's about to be kind of critical of any of these movies, I would like you to know that I would give both of my testicles just so that not one of these movies would cease existing. That doesn't mean that I think all of them are masterpieces. I just simply, in order to do a proper Friday the 13th series ranking, without me just sitting here being like, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, like the whole way through, that'd be ridiculous. And I also want to acknowledge that these movies are, out of all of the big horror franchises, I'm not going to say the weakest. They are absolutely, though, the most repetitive. Like, when you get into some of these, like, later sequels, they are better when you just watch them on their own versus if you watch them in a big order. Like, if you're marathoning these, at a certain point, these movies do start to just bleed together if you're not super entrenched in them. And I think even the most avid Friday the 13th supporter would be able to, like, acknowledge that. If you can't, I think you're like a bit too sports team, you know, brainwashed. I'm a Friday guy, so I have to support Friday no matter what. We all love Friday, and I just think that we all love Chris Tucker and Ice Cube's Friday, which I have on VHS over there. But like to just say that these movies are flawless or to say that, oh, the first 8 are good because those are the Paramount ones, or oh, the first 4 of them, those are the good ones, or I like this one because it's dumb fun, but the rest are... Shut the fuck up. I want to tell everybody that as the leading authority on all things ever, specifically though Friday the 13th, you're a dumbass and you need to shut the fuck up and let me talk because you're in my world now. That's what you guys are missing. I don't want to see some fucking limp-wristed dandy try and talk about Friday the 13th and be like, I feel like this one has some good parts, but ultimately I just like other ones better. Fuck that. Fuck that. If you're at the bottom, you suck. If you're at the top, you're the best of the best, and people can eat your shit. That's this fucking world, okay? I'm angry. I'm fucking mad. But I'm also having a great time celebrating Friday the 13th in June. Jason Voorhees, happy birthday, you big fucking lug. We love you. We miss you. Where are you? They won't let us see you anymore. They took you away from us. Since this is current, actually, let's just bring it up real quick. This is the Friday the 13th drive-in. Get it all out of your system, bucko, because we're talking about Friday the 13th and nothing else today. With the exception of, like, Freddy Krueger, because Freddy Vs Jason is going to come up. And this might be, I'm also going to warn you right now, I'm going to do it all in one sitting. This may be a 2-parter, because I may get extremely exhausted. This might be the longest drive-in I've ever done, because I'm going to have to be thorough, alright? Because I don't want to have to come back and do it again. I might have to. But basically, they revealed the Jason universe, or whatever the fuck it's called. They revealed this, like, design that allegedly Greg Nicotero had something to do with. What the fuck is that? And I'm not trying to be... I know there's a lot of people that were critical, and then I saw the backlash to the backlash that was like, he looks like Jason. What are you talking about? He looks just like Jason. No, he doesn't. Look at the fucking mask. The mask is my problem. Everything else, you know, whatever. And it's like, okay, I get it. He's just going to be on, like, t-shirts and fucking whatever, but I don't even give a shit about that. Where the fuck is my movie? Out of all the fucking characters, like, I really think Jason is the one that people want to see the most. People are ready for it. And it's like, we're not asking for a lot. We're asking for Jason in the woods, killing people. Duh, like, that's all it is. And they just can't fucking bring themselves to fucking do it. I don't know what the fucking issue is, what the holdup is. I know what it is. Don't fuck it. If you jump in those comments after I just told you I know everything, and then you try to explain to me that, oh, there's legal rights and Victor Miller is the owner of the script, shut the fuck up. There is nothing, I challenge you, nothing you can say in those comments that I don't already know. So you're wasting your time by saying it. You're actually going to look awfully stupid by saying it. I just want to point out that this specific design, like, I don't even know what the point is of revealing that. Jason has always looked different in every single movie. And that's the other thing is, like, to be a Jason Voorhees fan is to be tormented by the fact that, like, there really is no definitive Jason. It's like, because the thing is, like, Kane Hodder is most people's Jason. And, like, that's great. And this is just how my, like, autistic mind breaks things down. Kane Hodder was never in any of the really good Jason movies. and this might be spoiling my ranking a bit. But, like, the better ones are the earlier ones, and those versions of Jason, he hasn't really manifested into the Jason we know, which is Kane Hodder Jason. And so it's like, you know, remake Jason, fucking CJ Graham from Part 6, like, they're all very fucking different. It's not like Michael where he's pretty consistent. Like, it's like, yeah, that's Michael Myers. Like, the mask might be different, but his mannerisms and the things he does and whatever, those all kind of stay the same. And it's just interesting to me that Jason is so whatever. So then when they come out and they're like, this is our Jason, part of the Jason universe, and all of our activations considering collectibles and whatever. What the fuck are you talking about? What are we talking about? Is this going to lead to a movie? Because if it doesn't, I don't give a fuck. Like, at this point, it's 12 movies. And it's done. That's how I look at it. I will believe a fucking new Friday the 13th movie is actually happening when they show me a fucking trailer and give me a date and say it's coming out like that day. Here's footage. We've wrapped filming. It's coming out. And even then, I probably won't believe it until I'm in the theater watching it because somebody fucking asshole might make it like a tax write-off or whatever. I just don't understand what is so hard about this. And like, what about this nut is so difficult to crack? And I also think, especially with stuff like In a Violent Nature or X or, I mean, the newer Scream films, I mean, like, there is such a thirst right now for, like, deconstructions of the slasher genre. And when you think slasher movie, like, I know Halloween was first. I know Texas Chainsaw Massacre predates that. I know Psycho predates that. I know that there's all these movies now. But when you say to the layman, you say slasher movie, they picture a guy in a hockey mask in the woods and two people fucking and him killing them. Because Friday the 13th is like a slasher movie synthesized down to its purest elements. Summer camp, sex, drinking, drugs, guy in a fucking mask. Like, that's what we're talking about here. Cool kills, you know, disposable entertainment. But at the end of the day, Friday the 13th is like the ultimate comfort food franchise for any true blue horror aficionado. I will say this. I don't think that you can call yourself a horror fan and not like any of the Friday the 13th movies. Any of them. Because these are slasher movies in their purest form. And by that extent, like I said, I've gone over this a ton of times. I can like Goosebumps. I can like Hereditary. I can like fucking Saint Maud. I can like fucking Are You Afraid of the Dark? I can like Halloween. I can like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I can like Saw. I can like Hostel. I can like Cabin Fever. I can like fucking, you know, the TV miniseries adaptations of Stephen King books. Like, it's such a broad spectrum. And to say you're a horror fan and be like, I don't fuck with Friday the 13th, I'm like, I inherently distrust every other thing out of your mouth. I might not openly be like, well, you're a fucking idiot, but I'm going to be highly suspect of your ability to have any amount of fun. I wouldn't want to have a beer with you. I wouldn't want to go to a punk rock show with you. I wouldn't want you to come over and see my cats. I would distrust you. That's basically what I'm saying. And I think by that very same metric, if you say you like Friday the 13th, even if you have a lot of other problematic fuckery in your brain that you might even say out loud to me and then also say that you like Friday the 13th, I'm going to be predisposed or inclined to trust you just a little bit. Just be like, well, you know, we have something in common. And I think that's what I mean. Friday the 13th is like baseball. It's comforting. We all know it. We all, to an extent, have some kind of fond memory related to it. And even if you're like, I don't like baseball, yeah, but I bet if I took you to a baseball game and got you a hot dog and fireworks were going off, we had fun drinking and stuff, you would be like, yeah, baseball. Like, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to Friday the 13th. So now that the introductions are out of the way, and I think we are finally ready to start ranking these motherfuckers. And this is the definitive ranking. This isn't some asshole's opinion who was like, I watched all the films to log them on my letterbox, and here's my ranking. No. Wrong. What you have just stepped into is the definitive. This is etched in stone. This is the correct opinion. All other ones that contraire to mine are incorrect. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spring this on you. I know it's a lot to take in, but it simply is true. And I can't make it not true. It's the definitive ranking of the Friday the 13th franchise. All 12 movies by someone who likes them more than you and knows more about them than you. And if you try to argue with me, you will simply be exposed, my good sir. You will be humiliated and obliterated in the marketplace of ideas. Let's begin. Okay. I need my axe, and then we're gonna do this. Wendy, darling, light of my life. The Scream Factory Friday the 13th box set. We all love this box set, right? Yeah? You think you do? Guess what? Guess what? I hate this box set. It pisses me off. And I'm going to rant about it real quick because, like I said, I want to be thorough. artwork is incredible. I love that every movie has its own individual case. A lot of them even have reversible covers. Not all of them, but I do like this box set on principle. I like the fact, you know, they're all on Blu-ray. They all have quite a bit of special features, even if they're recycled special features from the superior, in my opinion, deluxe edition DVDs that came out from Paramount a while back. Why do I hate this box set? Because of this fucking one right here. So this box set, when it was first released, had a bug in it where I think it was like Jason X and one of the other ones had like audio errors, and you have to like go through and ask them. You had to like message Scream Factory and say, hey, can I get replacement discs for the movies that you guys fucked up when manufacturing, because you did a rush job on this. And also, not to mention, the deluxe edition DVDs look just as good as these, is what's more frustrating. You claim that it's Blu-rays and that you did all these restorations to whatever. No, you just package the DVDs, you know, and then, and I'm not a technical physical media guy. I collect physical media, so I have it. I have a ton of it, but I'm not, when it comes to tech specs, I'm going to illuminate the fact that I don't know a lot of what I'm talking about right here. Even though I just said earlier, hyperbolically, that I know everything and I'm leading authority on everything, this is the one aspect of things that I don't know a ton about. But I do know that it is bullshit to release a box set and charge $120 plus and then have two of the fucking discs in the fucking thing not even work the way that they're supposed to. So people had to go and get replacements and stuff. I intentionally did not buy this box set because I was worried about that. I ended up finding this with my girlfriend. We were down in Scarefest in Lexington, Kentucky, and I bought it in an FYE, and I was so happy that I finally owned it. Because I already have these movies twice over on DVD, both in the bare bones releases, the deluxe edition releases, and then I also have all of them on VHS, which I'm going to bring up later. I'm missing Jason X, Freddy Vs Jason, the remake, obviously, because it wasn't released on VHS. And I'm also missing Part 5 and Jason Takes Manhattan. All the other ones I have on VHS. I was going through watching them all with my sister, who had never seen these movies. We get to Friday the 13th, Part 6, and you won't even be able to see it. This was also bought brand new. And I took the disc out. I'm not rough with discs at all. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but on the, like, the circle part right here, there is a minor fucking crack in the, like, that part of the disc. This disc will not play on my PlayStation, on my PlayStation 4, my PlayStation 5. It won't play my Blu-ray player. It won't play on anything. On other people's Blu-ray players. This disc is dead, okay? And it came like that. Brand new, out of the box. So obviously, that frustrated me, but I said, hey, well, you know, Scream Factory, they're normally pretty good. Most horror fans really kind of swear by their stuff. I do too. And so I went and I emailed them, and I said, hey, you know, I bought this when I was down in Lexington at an FYE, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, this one disc, and I just got a replacement disc for that. I know I have the set that was re-released, didn't have the audio errors, but can I get the one with the fucking whatever? The person's basically like, I need a receipt for whatever, and I was like, I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole that's like being unreasonable, but at the same time, I'm like, I bought this set like months ago, and I just didn't get to Part 6 yet to realize that it was broken, and I don't have a receipt. Can you do anything for me in this regard? And they basically just told me to shove it up my ass. They were like, go fuck yourself. Well, we didn't fucking manufacture the goddamn thing. And I was like, I understand that, like, you know, it came from FYE, but you guys manufactured it. Like, it's your box set. Can you not stand by your product? Like, you have to put the error on FYE, and FYE that's all the way in another state that I'm not in anymore. I'm like, come on, like, just fucking help me out here. And then they basically just, like, super, like, have a good day, like, corporate speak, you know, like, but it's not our problem, and go fuck yourself. And I fucking let him have it. I was like, go fuck yourself, guys. You guys charge out the fucking ass for a box set that you put barely any fucking effort into. There's, to my knowledge, no new special features here. They look just as good as the deluxe edition DVDs. Like, all that really it is, oh, well, they're on Blu-ray now, and they've got a cool box. That's it. And if you want to defend them at this point, you guys are just being fucking bootlickers. You like the movies, and you like the way the box set looks on your shelf, so you're willing to defend a fucking company that's taking shortcuts, and the bigger they have gotten, the shittier their customer service has gotten, the shittier their products have gotten, because they've gotten lazy, and they've started to use fucking, like, AI to scan these movies and stuff to make them look clean and crisp and whatever. And it's like, yeah, I've got a lot of their stuff I really fuck with, but I really do feel like they have fallen off. And I simply wanted to bring up how annoying that is, because at the end of the day, You know, I get more out of watching Friday the 13th Part 7 on VHS than I do watching it on fucking Blu-ray anyways. And so my multiple fucking releases of these movies, I basically just wanted to vent about how much I hate that box set. And it irritates me. You know how fucking irritating it is having this, but yep, I've got them all on Blu-ray. Except that one. And then I've got it twice on DVD and once on VHS, and it's just fucking, it's irritating. It's like a perfectionist thing. I wish the box set was as quality as, you know, I thought it was. And people give the fucking Nightmare on Elm Street Blu-ray box set, the one, not by Scream Factory, I think it was someone else that released it. They give that one shit because they think that they cleaned it up too much or whatever. I've never had any issues with any of those discs. It's just my opinion. I don't know. And once again, another series of movies I own multiple fucking times over. So can we start the fucking ranking now, you stupid motherfucker? I'm talking to myself right now. That?
Yeah. You want to try pulling away and then reversing the shot? That way you get like way more of a jerk.
Got it?
Yep. Yeah.
So let's get one like this. I'm gonna get the full shot now. You ready?
Hold on.
I got carried away there. I'm sorry, that was on me. Okay, I've peed. I also had never actually wrote down my true ranking, and so then I did. You can't see it. This is just numbers. It's on this side, so you can't see it. But I needed to make sure I had that down so I didn't just make it up as I go along. And I did have to do a little bit of thinking, because some of these I love a lot. And it was difficult for me to say it. But basically, number one, the bottom of my list has never changed, really, even since I was a kid. Come on, you fucking slut. Jason X. I know that there's been like a reappraisal of Jason X, and I have a friend who also says that Jason X is the best one. And he's even gone so far as to say that it's like objectively the best one. Like, he's like, not like it's my favorite, he's like, it's the best one. Come on, man. Like, yes, it's funny. Jason goes to space. He becomes Uber Jason, which is a pretty cool design, you know? And I have had at least 2 watches of Jason X where I've had fun watching it. I find I only really have fun watching it, though, when I'm watching it in this incredibly specific mindset. 1 is drunk. 2 is having not watched any of the other ones in quite a while. 3 is like with other people, and 4 is I was already in a good mood. And that's a lot working against this movie. I can't just throw it on and have fun. And it's because I just genuinely, like, there's some really shitty CGI in it. It lacks pretty much any and all DNA, creatively, atmospherically, aesthetically, with any other Friday the 13th movie. It is a Sci-Fi Channel original movie. And I don't say that necessarily as like that's why it's bad. I just mean it's like, it is so fucking out there. Literally, it's in space, but also it does not feel like a Friday the 13th movie. I don't find any of the characters likable. I find all of them to be kind of like grating on my senses. It's sort of like dipping its toes and being meta. Like, there's scenes where, like, you know, the simulation where Jason's and there's the campers and stuff, that's like haha, whatever. But like, that's not the kind of meta I'm wanting. It is so superficial. It almost kind of feels like Cabin in the Woods. And I know a lot of people love Cabin in the Woods, and I think I'm famously on record saying that I don't love it, but I like it. But because a lot of its criticisms of the genre that it's allegedly celebrating just feel super superficial and don't feel like they actually are. They're not really celebrating the thing that they're that they're lampooning, I suppose. They're just kind of like haha, you know, that thing that we all know, it's there. We are acknowledging that it's there. It doesn't really say anything. And so when I say, like, I'd like a deconstruction of Friday the 13th, this is not what I'm talking about. The space setting does not really bother me. That's not my issue. It really is just the look of the film, the characters in the movie. I find, you know, obviously the liquid nitrogen kill is awesome. Kane Hodder as Jason. I mean, like, he's not even my favorite Jason, but he is absolutely the Jason. And I respect everything he has ever done. I think he is who has kind of made Jason, like, when you think of Jason, like, his mannerisms and stuff, you're thinking of the Kane Hodder version. And I think every Jason after him will always be compared to him, and every Jason before him is always compared to him. And so it is great that he got to do this. It is just kind of shitty, though, that this is his last foray as the character. Not only that, I find the movie kind of anticlimactic. I like the part where he fights the fucking android bitch. And I am, like, a fan of, like, Star Trek and Star Wars and fucking Battlestar Galactica. Like, I'm, like, a fan of these things. And so I should like this movie more. I just genuinely never want to see Jason in space again. I don't think it makes for a good movie. If you guys fuck with it, great. I do not like dumb fun. I don't like turn your brain off stuff. I know I like a lot of things that could be considered that, but it's always because I'm thinking about something else. I'm looking into it deeper than what the movie wants. This movie feels like it's just like smacking me over the head with like, hey, we're a fucking cartoon. Don't fucking take us seriously. And I just don't like that. It's the only one out of the 12 movies that's like that. Part 6, we're going to get into later, has moments where it kind of like pokes fun at itself, but at the same time, it still offers you a serious movie with stakes and characters you like and whatever. I don't want to get too much into it because it'll spoil my ranking, but like, Jason X is not those things that I'm talking about. I think the standout kill of the movie is absolutely the liquid nitrogen kill. The liquid nitrogen kill itself, it's almost like forgives the rest of the movie because it's so creative and it's so interesting and it looks so cool and it's so memorable that the movie around it almost gets lifted by its presence being in the film. I also think the design of Uber Jason is so cool that it does lift the movie around it. And it's like then you just kind of forget that, you know, other than Uber Jason, other than the liquid nitrogen kill, and I guess I kind of like the opening of the movie, everything else around the movie is just like, it kind of sucks. So it's the weakest movie by far, and that's why it is at the very fucking bottom, and I'm not changing it. I'm not entertaining arguments to the contrary. That's where this fucking movie belongs. Let's move on to number 11. But like trying to put yourself in my shoes. I can't see what it looks like.
It looks awesome.
You're lying.
Well, don't ask me a question that I don't know the answer to.
We'll have to just wait and see what the internet thinks.
Yeah, we will. And they'll think, why is a woman fighting him? She would never win.
Do like a...
actually he gets beat by women all the time.
That's
really?
true. Every single movie, with the exception of like...
He gets killed by a woman?
Yeah, that's like the whole thing.
Oh my god. What's that called? Anti-male...
What?
Like sexism, but against men.
Misandry. Well, it's not misandry because he kills women the whole movie.
Oh, so like it's like equal.
It's more like feminism.
Equality.
Sure. Do like a baseball bat kind of thing? You know? All right, I'm ready.
What do I do?
Oh yeah. This is gonna be a good video. I can tell already. Really? Hey, that's what I wrote down. Okay. Number 11. Jason Takes Manhattan. I know. I have a poster for the movie because I love the poster. Not because I really fuck with the movie. And I do fuck with the movie. Like I said, I said this before, and I'm not going to repeat myself every time I criticize any of these movies. I love all the movies. I would never want a Friday the 13th series without any of these movies in it. None of them are like, I won't watch it. There's no fucking fun to be had in it. This one's included. Jason Takes Manhattan, though. You know, even as a kid, I didn't really like this one. And I would rewatch it because it's like, that's the one where he goes to New York. But it's like, the New York segments are fun. And I know I'm repeating myself like a shitload. Or not even repeating myself. I'm repeating a criticism that people have had for years, but it's a fair criticism. It's that he does not really go to Manhattan a ton in the movie. He's in Manhattan in like the last half of the movie. Not even the last half. It's like the last like 20, 30 minutes. I will defend a lot of the boat segments in the movie. I think the boat setting is unique. It's different. And it makes for just like interesting to see Jason in a setting he's not been in before. Where it falls is like, once again, characters suck. And I know it's like, you're gonna be like, what, it's fucking Friday the 13th, you're gonna criticize the characters? Yes, I am. Because Friday the 13th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I would say, and 7 to an extent, have all really solid characters that you can root for. It's not just the Jason show. You need humans to create dialogue that can progress the plot so that when they get killed, you actually have some kind of impact for it, but you're still rooting for Jason, but at the end of the movie, you want a character you can root for to defeat Jason. Jason Takes Manhattan does not have that. At all. I mean, I'm trying to think of like one character I like, and it'd probably be the black guy that boxes Jason on top of the building, and what do you know? That's a scene that a lot of people bring up as the best scene of Jason Takes Manhattan, because it is. And it's because you actually kind of liked Julius. That's his character's name. I can remember that character's name. I can't remember any other character's name. Another scene that people really like, to support my argument, is the part where Jason shoves the fucking guy in the toxic waste and fucking drowns him. Because that guy was a fucking asshole. He was a big piece of shit. Possibly a candidate for biggest piece of shit in the whole series. You only felt as much because there was actually development put into making him a shitty person. And that's why you hated him. I love the sequence in Jason Takes Manhattan where they're on the lake and it's a flashback. It's so eerie. It's almost kind of, I'm going to get a little fuck about with this, but it's almost kind of David Lynchian. The way it's got this glow to it and all the music is dropped out and it's just got this echoey feel. He's like, you don't want to end up like that boy Jason, do you? And it reminds you of when you're a kid and an adult tells you a scary story that's kind of just there to fuck with you. It's not really a story they're telling you because they want you to feel like good. They don't want you to learn anything. They're just trying to scare you. And it's mean, and it's something that happens to every kid. And it is an important part of, I think, childhood development to be afraid. And it's the natural. That one section is so good because it takes it to the natural endpoint of like, what if the thing they're telling you was real and you're actually scared and there is not an adult there to protect you? Because when she sees Jason under the lake, he looks incredible. He looks just like Jason should look from the original film. And I think that section of the movie is so strong, and again, it leads to a really satisfying kill. And that's what I'm talking about. That, like, they put effort into those sections. When Jason kills the captain of the boat, you don't fucking care. When Jason kills any of the people, you don't fucking care. Nobody matters, nobody means anything, nobody wants anything, nobody's trying to do anything. And it just makes the whole movie feel like you're just meandering around and the only thing entertaining you is Kane Hodder as Jason, who of course is incredible, like he always is. But it's just whatever, you know? It's like you're just watching Jason kill people on a boat, and then you watch Jason kill people in the city. And I know some fucking asshole's gonna be like, well, what else did you want? I don't know. I guess the stuff that the earlier movies gave me, where I felt like there was atmosphere, and there was passion, and there was effort put in, and I felt like things mattered, and I felt like I got attached to people, and I felt like whatever. You know, this movie has none of that. It really is just kind of sloppy and shitty. And I will say it's also anticlimactic as fuck. It has some really cool visuals when Jason's down in the sewer and there's like the lighting is kind of playing on the mask. And I really like that shot where he emerges from the darkness in the fucking sewer. But at the end of the day, it is a a slow, plodding movie with not that many memorable kills, other than the boxing section, which I already established, and the guy drowning in the fucking slime. And I mean, yeah, the stuff that's always gonna be there, like Jason fucking winding up with the fucking guitar and smashing it into that chick. Yeah, like, I mean, like, it's a Friday the 13th movie. Like I said, I'm always gonna enjoy some aspect of some of these. There's been tons of times where I've had friends come over and we're like, hey, let's watch a Jason movie. What do you want to watch? And people are like, Jason Takes Manhattan. And I'm like, hell yeah. You know, and that's what it is. But it is ultimately, like, it is an extremely weak entry in this series. Characters don't act like real people. Kills don't mean anything because the people don't feel like real people. And it's cool to see Jason in New York. Obviously, we love the section where he kicks the beatbox. So it's like, I think there's just... It's a movie with some really spectacular highs, and that's why I always say I'd never get rid of any of these movies, because I don't want to get rid of the beatbox part, the boxing on the rooftop part, the fucking toxic slime part, the part where Jason kills all the fucking rapists in the alleyway. There's like some cool shit in here. I love when he goes into the diner and Ken Kersinger and Kane Hodder get to interact for a second. That stuff's cool, but I just like... It sucks. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, let it...
It reminds me of, what's it called when Jesus was on the cross?
The Passion of the Christ.
The crucifixion.
Yeah, that's the word.
Alright, you ready? Got it?
I think so.
And... How's that?
I think it looked amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah. Do I press the red button
like
again
it, Alex?
now? How does he know?
I don't know what it looked like.
Alright. Number 10. Jason Goes to Hell. Number 10 is Jason Goes to Hell. And I know I'm gonna get some shit for this because I feel like Jason Goes to Hell is one that, like, we're not supposed to like. It's supposed to be the last on the list. It's like, you know, oh, well, at least it's not Jason Goes to Hell. I have Jason Goes to Hell twice, actually, on VHS. This is the Special Collector's Edition. This is also the Special Collector's Edition, but it's the unrated director's original cut. Like, isn't that bizarre? And, like, they're, like, one's black and one's red. It's the weirdest thing ever. I have the movie twice, though. And, you know what? Hey! A little side quest real quick. I think all of these movies I stole from a guy named Mason. And he's a fucking little bitch with a small dick, and he ain't never gonna come and ask for these back. And if he tries, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass, you fucking little pussy-ass bitch. Why don't you talk some more shit? Talk your shit now. I have all your Friday the 13th movies on VHS. That's where I got these from. I stole them. I stole them from you, you little fucking dwarf. Fuck you, you balding, hairy-assed, small wiener, fucking virgin incel motherfucker. Talk some more shit about me. I'm leaving that part in. I stole these from him. I love it. I look at them often and I'm like, ha 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 ha. I have your Friday the 13th films on VHS, you fucking homo. What are you gonna do about it? You're not gonna do a fucking thing. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna take it like a little bitch. Cause why? Why not? You're gonna sit there and take it. So take it. Yum, yum, yum. I love the taste of shit, Mason says. There, okay. Side quest over. Jason Goes to Hell, though, is a movie that we're supposed to hate. And I think, you know, when I was a kid, I was disappointed in it because, like, one, I wasn't totally in love with the Jason design in this movie. He kind of looks like a big swollen testicle, and the mask is, like, bonded to his face. And I don't really know how I feel about, like, that just, like, gray pants, shirt, combo thing he's got going on. I didn't know how to feel about the heart in the guy eating it and, like, getting possessed by demons. And then he fucking, like, melts people and possesses them, and he needs to become a demon worm to go up inside his sister's pussy so that she can become Jason. And then there's a guy named Creighton Duke who knows everything about Jason and knows him from a past experience that we never saw happen. It very much feels like Friday the 13th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. clear the fuck over there. Jason Goes to Hell happens. And you're just kind of like, okay? Like, where's all this demon shit coming from? The Necronomicon and the Bone Dagger are in this movie. They have to, like, he gets, like, dragged underground by, like, demons. It's, like, wild. It's wild, okay? I, however, would like to make an argument for you guys. I really like Jason Goes to Hell. It's obviously not my favorite. It's my 10th favorite of all 12 movies. But it's, the creator of the first returns to bring you the last. Shut the fuck up, Cunningham, you fucking bitch. Jason Goes to Hell is the Halloween 6 of the Friday the 13th franchise. And what I mean by that is it was a movie that it sets up so much supernatural-based lore. It brings in all these new characters, and they all kind of have to work together to create some sort of a scenario to defeat Michael or Jason that is extremely supernatural. And it adds lore that makes it feel like the black sheep of everything that came before it. In the same respect, though, it has kind of like this 90s grunge kind of tone to it. It's got sort of some really cool kills that I really enjoy, some cool gore. And it just has a vibe that kind of makes it feel interesting to me. And also, I do kind of understand now what the director was going for when he said, like, you know, Jason, he's, like, possessing all these people, and so then when you get Jason in the hockey mask, in his pure form, back at the end of the movie, it kind of feels like a reward. It does, though. Like, when Jason shows up and he breaks out of the floorboards, you're kind of like, yeah! You know? And then there's a kind of like a cool fight where he's beating the fuck out of that one guy who has no business getting into a fight with Jason. But then, you know, like, the demon hands is kind of cool, and then let's just say it, you know, when Freddy's hand popped out of the ground to grab the mask at the end of the movie and pull it underground, I fucking shit my fucking Spider-Man tidy whities. Like, that was crazy to me. It was insane. I remember camping up super late with my dad, actually. And it's rare because I don't have a lot of memories with my dad, like fond ones, I mean, you know, because he's still alive, I just don't have much to do with him, but my dad rented me Jason Goes to Hell, and we watched it, and I had a fun time watching it with him, and I remember I was eating strawberry Pop-Tarts at like 1 in the morning watching this, and Freddy Krueger's hand popped out at the end of the movie, and it just was like a really cool evening. And so I'm always going to remember the movie more fondly than other people, but I'm also just like, the fact that it is like that title is cool, the fucking cover is cool, I like all the practical effects of the guy melting, of the kills, of Jason himself. I love the opening scene where the girl, you know, it's like that super 90s looking thong bra combo, and she goes and like, she's like a CIA operative, and she fucking runs out of the woods, and then they fucking shoot up Jason, he blows up. I was like, what? What a fucking wild way to start a movie. And then they take all of his body parts, and then the guy possesses him. Like, it's just like, already I have talked about more things I like in this movie than I liked in fucking Jason Takes Manhattan. So it's like, I think I've already established why it's over Jason Takes Manhattan. Obviously, there's a bunch of shit that's stupid about this movie. The supernatural lore, I mean, like, none of that shit was present in any of the previous movies. This outright says things that contradict continuity a ton from previous movies. But I mean, the Friday the 13th movies, here's the thing, is like, they've always been shitty about continuity. Even from like the second movie onward, the continuity has been kind of fucked. And so it just doesn't really bother me when all of a sudden they're like, Connecticut, Voorhees with 1 O, also Jason's a demon. I'm like, yeah, and in part 7, like, Jason is under the lake and there's a house all of a sudden, and this girl has supernatural telekinesis, and in part 5, Tommy's all grown up, but it's still the 80s, and like, it's just like weird continuity. It is the next Friday the 13th movie, you know? There's parts I like about it. Creighton Duke also, for all of his weirdness as an inclusion, has a lot of great screen presence with Jason. Within the movie, I mean. And I just think he was a cool character. And I like the movie. I like the movie! Got fucked! That's my opinion.
You say it right now.
Alright. He was mine!
I can't do it, bro. That's so embarrassing.
No, it's not. Alex, come more like, not center, but like, you know, that. Because then the shot, reverse shot, you're gonna get the same shot of me over here saying nothing. Jason has autism.
I wish I had autism so I didn't have to talk. What? I don't want to say this. There's a person riding a horse and there's people sitting over there. Ugh, I can't do it. How loud do I have to say it? How loud? How loud do I have to say it?
Yeah, this one I'm gonna get a lot of shit for because it's so low on the list, and you're probably thinking like, I bet you're gonna say Friday the 13th Part 1. I'm not. I'm gonna say Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Okay, look. I think, remember I told you earlier, I said when I was a kid, if you would have asked me, I would have said Friday the 13th Part 3, that's my favorite one. When I got a little bit older, I for a long time said Part 7 was my favorite one because I loved Tina. I thought she was such a cool character. I loved the telekinesis thing. I thought that was really interesting. I loved the final sequence with her battling Jason using her telekinesis. And I loved Kane Hodder as Jason, and his design in this movie was spectacular. And I also noticed I just put all 4 of Kane Hodder's Jason movies at the bottom 4 of the list. And that's what I mean. For being one of the best performances as Jason, his movies are the weakest. Part 7 is the weakest because... I think my cat's trying to get in here. Part 7 is the weakest because the kills are really bad. I don't necessarily love that they shot it in like January and tried to pretend that it was summer when it very clearly isn't. I wish they almost would have leaned more into the fact that it's not summer. Because like you see those girls in that, they're out there in like bikinis, like suntanning, and you're like, it's not fucking summer. What are you doing out there? Like you can tell, it's like everyone's like, you can see their breath. It's cold. None of the trees have leaves. It has this really muddy, like barren tree look to it. And like, just like these like houses, like, oh, there's the fucking psychiatrist's house and there's the party house. And it's just like Part 4 where there's the one house doing this and the one house doing that. And Jason's bouncing between the both, killing people. And, I mean, Jason in this movie, this is my favorite Jason look. And I think that's not a hot take. I think everyone thinks that. This is the best he's ever looked. It's so cool looking. He looks just so... worn down and fucked up looking and mean and scary and muscular, and like he just looks like when you say Jason, you think of Part 7 Jason. He's so cool looking in this movie. It's fucking awesome for real. But then all the kills are bullshit, cutaway, no contact, no blood, no gore, no nothing. And that was an MPAA thing. There is a version of this movie on the cutting room floor that would be even better because it had all the cool gore in it. But also, who did this? John Carl Buechler, I think? And he put a lot of effort into those kills, and it sucks that the MPA neutered him. But I also sit there and I look at it as like, if the gore was in there, would this change anything? I don't think it would a ton. Because at the end of the day, the atmosphere is still weird, where it's like they're pretending it's summer, but it's not. And then also, all of these characters, with the exception of Tina, suck. The only one that's like a decently fleshed out character, other than Tina, is Dr. fucking whatever. Dr. Grant? That's from Jurassic Park. What the fuck is the doctor's name in this movie? I don't remember. The guy that wants to use Tina's X-Men powers to, like, you know, make money off of her or whatever. He's a well-written character, and it's only because he sucks, and we hate him. And so when he dies, it's like the guy dying in Part 8, where you're like, yeah, fuck that guy. But it's like, his death is not satisfying enough to make him worth it. What the fuck is that guy's name? It's driving me crazy. I don't remember. He gets killed with the big fucking weed whacker thing. That's the other thing, is like Jason's, all of his weapons are so interesting in this movie, but yet he doesn't really get a chance to like show them off. Like he uses them, but you don't really see them. It's just like he's just using that weapon. You're like, oh cool, he's got this big tree limb cutter with the big fucking saw blade on the end of it. Oh, he's got this big like scythe thing that he stabs a person with. He's got a sickle, he's got whatever. I had a Part 7 Jason doll when I was a kid. And I remember it's like just pouring over that design, like you can see his spine and his like knuckles and like his jaw from the fucking boat propeller cutting him in Part 6. And I was just kind of like, damn, this is really fucking cool. But then like it just never, the movie itself, although if you take out the Tina stuff and you take out Jason looking cool, this is genuinely one of the most ho-hum, bland Jason movies ever. Because, especially if you watch all 6 before it and then this one, this is the one where you're going to initially start the, oh, I'm kind of feeling fatigued. I'm feeling a little bit over this. This feels repetitive. There's other things where it's just there's a better movie sitting on the cutting room floor. Her father getting drowned and then by her telekinesis and then coming back at the end and pulling Jason into the lake would have been way cooler if they had let him be a fucking zombie. But there's just weird MPAA shit going on where they're just no, you can't do that. You can't do that. This is a pretty sexless movie. I know there are sex scenes in the movie, but they're not in the way that they were in the first 6 of them. It feels very much like just people with their shirts off, flirting. Really pay attention and watch it. You don't see a lot of sex, and if you do, it's just super fucking vanilla. And as a Friday the 13th movie, that is a notch against it, It's just kind of the softest vanilla ice cream version of all of the Friday the 13th things, but then there's also a cool telekinesis showdown with a really cool Jason at the end of the movie. And it's everything else about the movie sucks. Let's talk about Sleeping Bag Kill real quick. It is a all-timer. It is awesome. And yes, the MPAA kind of cutting it down sort of improved the kill. But at the end of the day, Sleeping Bag Kill is the same thing as Liquid Nitrogen Kill. Does not stop the movie from being this far down on the list. It is just a repetitive movie at this point, and I feel like it had very little to offer. Since it happened very recently, though, before we move on completely, I want to talk about Tina more. And in that respect, Lar Park Lincoln, who played Tina. I had the opportunity to meet Lar Park Lincoln at Scarefest and also at Halloween-a-Palooza in the same year. She was at both locations. I had wanted to go to Halloween-a-Palooza. I ended up blowing it off because I went to Scarefest. And she was at Scarefest, and I saw her there at the table, and I didn't go up and meet her. I ended up meeting Alice from part 1 and Ginny from part 2 because that's my girlfriend's favorite and my favorite final girl. And I don't really know how to say it in a respectful way. I feel really guilty that I never did, because Tina truly is, if I really thought about it, not only one of my favorite she's one of my favorite final girls ever, probably. Alice is my favorite from Friday the 13th, and that's just because of nostalgia. It's just the one I watched the most and whatever. Because I had it as a kid growing up. But Tina was always one, whenever you said, favorite final girl, I would think, and I would always somehow pull out Tina in addition to other different girls. But, Tina was just cool to me. She had the psychic power, or the telekinesis power, and I loved her showdown with Jason. She really kind of stood her ground with him and kind of put him in his place in a way and challenged him in interesting ways. And not only that, and maybe this is misogynistic to say, but I think she was so beautiful. And I think a lot about her even before she had passed away, because I was just man, Tina was really beautiful, and she had such a spirit to her that was different than all the final girls that came before her, and even the ones that came after her. And I I feel bad that I never met her. I kept thinking oh, well, there'll be another time, is what I told myself. And then I realized as I got older that that's not the case, Sometimes we lose people. And it's when we didn't think we were going to. She never really got the flowers that I think that she deserved. And I'm part of the problem. So, thank you, Tina Lar Park. Is it her middle name is Park? Lar is her first name. Lar Park Lincoln, but also Tina Shepard. Thank you so much. I know it's stupid to get emotional about this, but I really don't think that it is. She meant a lot to me as a kid, as a man. I appreciate her, what she did for us. She's also in House 2, and she's great in that also. House 2, the second story. So, even though Part 7 is far down on my list, just know that I love Part 7. And like I said earlier, I would never get rid of any of these movies, and I'm eternally grateful that we have this movie and that we got to enjoy her in it, and she's immortal for that reason. I'm always going to watch Part 7, and I think about how even though I never got to meet her, I got to see her sitting at that table, and even as a very old woman, she was still breathtaking, honestly, for me to look at. Like, I thought she was beautiful. So, thank you, Tina. Let's move on to the next movie.
What is she? She's yelling shit at her horse, man.
Hey, you fucking people out there making the Jason movie. Fuck you. That's what she's saying.
You want to say hi? Where you at? There you are. My little Edwardigan. You're on the YouTube video now. We're doing a Friday the 13th series ranking. You go play? Go play. Number 8 on my list might be controversial because I know it's a lot of people's like way up on the list. And here's the thing is, like, if I sat here and really thought about it, it would be higher. But like, this is my list, and I'm not. It is the definitive list, as we've already established also. So I'm not going to change my list. But I want you to know that I do love this movie inside and out. And I just have my reasons for it being kind of lower. And most of them attribute to the fact that I just enjoy things in other movies more. Even though I will acknowledge this is one of the better written, acted, best kills, best atmosphere of the entire series. Edgar, if you bump into that tripod again, I'm kicking you out. Number 8 on my list is Part 2. Friday the 13th Part 2. That's what it is. This is my girlfriend's favorite Friday the 13th film. Like I said, we met Ginny from the movie, and she was so incredible. She was so sweet. And I've always loved Part 2. I remember vividly where I was the first time I watched all of these movies, and Part 2, the atmosphere I watched it in, I remember my dad was like, he was with this woman, I don't remember her name, I don't want to say it was Vicky. She'll never see this video. She might even be dead. But her name was Vicky, and she was always really kind to me. And I remember saying, like, I watched Friday the 13th, and I really liked it. And she's like, have you ever seen Part 2? And I said, no. And she went to fucking Blockbuster and rented it for me. Never saw this woman again, but she was like, I want you to see this. It's like, Part 2 is really good. And I got to sleep on her couch. Well, my dad and her were probably out there fucking. And I got to watch Friday the 13th Part 2 all by myself, late at night. And it was awesome. It was fucking awesome. It was everything I loved about the first movie again. That's like the best way I can describe it. Everything I loved about the first movie again. And this time, it's got Jason in it. And as a kid, I knew who Jason was, which is why I was watching the Friday the 13th movies. And I was kind of bummed the first time I watched Friday the 13th Part 1, and I found out that he is not the killer in the movie. So when Jason shows up in the second movie, I was like, yeah! But then I was also put off by the fact that he wore this bag on his head. And I didn't appreciate till I got older how kind of cool that design is. Like the bag on the head and the plaid shirt and the bib overalls. And he's got the pitchfork and he's running around in the fucking whatever. I kind of really fuck with it. It's got a lot of all-timer kills. Obviously, the standout is the wheelchair in the staircase. So fucking cool. And there's a lot of great Friday the 13th kind of like isms that people like to talk about. You know, the fucking... What is it? The fucking harpoon through the bed, going through both people at the same time. That's super cool. The final chase between Ginny and Jason is one of the best in the series. I think she's one of the best final girls in slasher film history, but especially in Friday the 13th canon, she's a top 3 for sure. And she's so smart and she's so capable and her performance is so authentic that we care and we want to see her get out of the situation. And Jason is still at a level where he's like beatable. So it kind of makes it just a bit more enthralling to watch. He's playing with a little toy right here, so just ignore him. Also, I love Jason's little hut that he has. I've always thought that was cool, and I kind of was bummed that we never get to see that again. Like, did he build that? Was it already out there? Does Jason shit in that toilet? Or is it just a toilet that's there? It's just like, whatever. And there's like the severed mom's head. It's so fucking cool. Okay, Friday the 13th isms. Like, the people hanging out. They're like, okay, we're gonna go to the bar. And you like go to the bar, you hang out with them at the bar, but then you also hang out with the people back at the fucking Packanack Lodge or whatever. Isn't it Packanack Lodge? I don't remember. It's not Higgins Haven, because that's Part 5. And I never played the video game. I know that's sacrilegious. And when the game came out, everyone was playing it but me, and I didn't have online access, so the game was pretty much worthless to me. But I've watched tons of gameplay, and I want to say it's Pack and Act Lodge. The characters are all pretty likable, though, and there's some memorable standouts. And I remember always a part that sticks out to me that's, like, funny to me is the girl who's going to have sex with the guy in the wheelchair. And he's, like, a fucking stud. He kind of, like, really, like, smooths her over, and he's great at, like, fucking arm wrestling, and he's great at the fucking football, like, Tecmo Bowl game that they have, the Tiger Electronics game they have. He's charming, and then she's gonna go, like, get, like, sexied up for him, and she picks these, like, brown, like, they make a point of showing it. She pulls out these, like, brown panties, and she's like, oh yeah, and, like, these are what she's gonna wear. It's like, those are your sexy undies? Like, out of all the fucking panties you own, those are the sexy panties. And then she puts those on, and I gets fucking murdered by, like, Jason, in that shot where he's got the fucking, like, a blackened fucking thumb, and he, like, stabs her. It's a fucking awesome movie. I love the movie. I just, like, it's far down on my list because everything else after it has other things I like more. Is really all it is. But part 2 is an all-timer. I absolutely respect everything it goes for, and if you say it's your favorite one, I would even understand, because I'm with a girl who it is her favorite one, and she really does fuck with this movie. And so, Friday the 13th Part 2, we love you. Friday the 13th Part 2, we love you. We're moving on. Try one more time for me.
Okay, for your birthday, this specific scene is your entire birthday present?
No, this whole fucking movie.
Oh, but I can't, like...
You have to do the whole movie anyways.
I know I have to do it.
Yeah.
I just can't.
I bet you can. Is it literally just them?
No, it's just like... Well, yeah, if they weren't here, I would be able to do it.
You want me to go ask them to leave?
No.
They will.
They go up there with the axe, run up there.
Hey guys, I hate to break this up. My friend has autism, and she can't do the scene properly. And if you guys could please leave, it'd be a lot easier for her to say, he was mine. Bugs.
Yeah, there's lots of them. It's awful.
That's why I want to get this over with.
Okay.
I'm hungry and I'm thirsty for beer. That's what I want. I want to shower. I want to clean my
like
face.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Huh? I thirst for a beer. That guy was mine.
I just...
Look over that way. Don't look at me.
Hey! Can't do it. Can I just be nonverbal too? Just be like...
No, you guys can't.
I can't do it, man.
Almost
really
like almost anything would really work. Like, not cool, dude.
Not
You fucking kill stealing.
fucking man-stealing whore.
Part 7, or not part 7, we already talked about part 7. Number 7 on my list is Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D. As I stated at the beginning, this used to be my favorite one, and so it has fallen far in my ranking. And the reason for that is because my cat is going nuts back there. The reason it's fallen is simply because I got older and my tastes changed. But what I loved about it when I was younger was the simplicity of it. Jason finally has a hockey mask. Richard Broker as Jason is candidate for best. You can either be a Kane Hodder guy or you can be a Richard Broker guy. I'm a different guy, and we'll bring it up later. But and it's a bummer I never got to meet Richard Broker, because he really is Broker. I don't know. Either way, he's incredible as Jason, and he has a very distinct look to him that whenever you think Jason Voorhees, you're going to think of either like a Part 7 Jason, or you're going to think of a Richard Broker from Part 3. He's great. And he gives a lot of humanity to Jason that I think even was lacking in Part 2. And he also finally, like, this is the first movie where he feels as though he is the Jason that we know, that's on t-shirts and whatever. He's got a hockey mask, he's a big guy, he's bald, he's deformed, you know, and he's physically imposing. It's great. I would also like to bring up that the final girl in this movie, I want to say her name is Chris. She is an all-timer for me. One, I think she is fucking beautiful, like beyond words can describe. I don't know if she still does conventions. I would love to meet her though. In this movie though, she is fucking amazing. I like how genuine she is. I like how she kind of has like a past trauma that sort of relates to Jason. And I think the best Final Girls all have that. Some sort of like weird connective tissue. Even if like the story she's telling doesn't really have like a place that could make sense in continuity, it clearly happened. And whether or not it was a ghost that Crystal Lake was showing her, because that does happen in the series sometimes, or if this really did happen, it was just a very specific window of time that it happened, she has some sort of, and also, like I said, Friday the 13th movies with continuity, they sometimes get kind of loose with it. But this scenario she has, it gives her like a connection to Jason that makes her story a bit more engaging to follow. It makes it a bit more interesting, like, oh, you know, I don't know, like she just has a history with him. And I just think she's interesting, and I also think the way she ends up at the end of the movie is unique. That doesn't happen to any of the girls where they just go kind of fucking crazy. And, you know, she also goes through some kind of like the most horrific stuff. At least if we go from 1 to 2 to 3, it makes sense why she'd be kind of the most fucked up. The Pamela Voorhees jumping out of the lake at the end is almost scarier than the Jason jumping out of the lake at the end of the first movie. And so it's like, I don't know, I love that. Kills are all real simple, real straightforward, real basic, but they're all so cool. Jason with the fucking axe, and the dude on the head doing a headstand, that's awesome. Through the hammock, all-timer. The guy getting electrocuted when he's trying to make fucking popcorn, that guy is awesome. They all have kind of like unique gimmicks. Shelly is one of my favorite characters. I've always felt a relationship with Shelly. I've always felt kind of connection to Shelly. It is interesting to me also that the actor is like the lawyer that was like litigating the fucking, or like he was like involved in the court case with Jason's like rights and likeness and stuff like that. I thought it was interesting. But I've always really liked Shelly. And I like I said, I like a lot of these characters. So I've always really fucked with the movie. And I love the vibe. The 3D aspect, I have watched this movie in 3D possibly more than I've watched it in 2D. And it's crazy because like the DVD or the 3D, some of it looked pretty fucking good. Especially if you watched it on like a modern, you know, like huge ass TV. It looks pretty solid. It gets tiresome by the end, but then you take the shit off and you watch it in like blue and red, and it's still a lot of fun. I don't have much else to say about it. I just really like part 3. I love the bikers. I love the fucking funky disco 70s, like, I can't do that fucking song, but like the you know the fucking song from part 3. It's part 3. It is the purest Jason movie out there, and it is fun and it's comforting, and I've watched it a shitload of times and I love watching it. I don't have much else to say about it other than the fact that I like all the ones after it more, which is why it's down on this list.
Isn't that better?
Yeah.
Bugs! There's so many!
I'll find a way to keep that in there.
Hey!
I liked it.
It's not coming out.
It was almost there.
You can't relate. You don't get it.
I think I can.
Hey!
Okay, number 6 on my list is part 5. Okay. I've talked to a lot of people that really hate part 5, even to this day. I thought we all had kind of like a come to Jesus Halloween 3 moment where we decided that part 5 was really good. Because it is, in my opinion. But there are some friends of mine that say part 5 is the worst one. And I think that's crazy. Roy Burns, man, like I said, you watch this movie as a self-contained film. Like it's just like we're watching Friday the 13th, part 5, A New Beginning. You didn't watch the ones after it, you didn't watch the ones before it. And you know who Jason is and stuff. This movie's fascinating. Roy Burns as a character is interesting. He's also lethal. These kills are fucking... I keep burping. The kills in part 5 are fucking brutal. The fucking strap around the tree and him twisting the stick the fucking shears into the person's thing, the fucking metal rod through the goddamn outhouse as the guy's in there, and the ooh baby, like there's like so many memorable Friday the 13th isms in this movie that make it stand out. I think genuinely, if this movie had not done a little bit of fuckery and they had actually had Jason be the killer, they didn't do a fake out and have it be Roy Burns at the end. They pull a fucking April Fool's Day on you. They didn't pull a fucking, you know, Halloween Ends on you. People would have appreciated it more. I feel very strongly that that is the case. I think because there's a lot of sex in this movie, there's a lot of those like classic Friday the 13th isms in this movie. There's some all-timer kills across the board. Every kill in this movie is spectacular. It's got an amazing climax where Jason chainsaw. I know it's not Jason. The fake Jason chainsaw fights a really hot chick in a white shirt, and it's raining, and you can see her tits and everything. Fucking awesome. And she's a great character too. And it was directed by a guy that does porn. And I actually do think that shows in the text of the film. Like, you can feel this like undercurrent of violence and sexuality throughout the whole thing. And I think the best Friday the 13th movies are like that. And this one gets that. Tommy Jarvis also being kind of like mentally fucking deranged after the events of part 4. He really does work in this film. And every character that you meet is fucking crazy. Roy Burns is crazy. Tommy Jarvis is crazy. Honestly, Reggie is at that fucking youth shelter for a reason. He's crazy. The hillbillies out in the woods, the cops are insistent that this is Jason Voorhees. And then it turns out not to be. So the one time they're like, yep, it's Jason, it's not. And like everyone in this movie is crazy. The fucking candy bar scene where he's like, if that's the way you feel, Vic, then forget it. Just forget it, Vic. But I think you're really out of line. And he turns around and axe to the fuck. Like, it's like, this whole fucking movie's full of crazy people. Is it Violet, the goth chick? 80s goth in this movie. Fuck yeah. And there's no love and no life in his eyes. Where she's doing the techno, like, roboto fucking dance moves. I love this movie. I love it. I love it. It really is. I think people just shit on it because it doesn't turn out to be Jason at the end. And for all that, you know, let's just say for a minute, because I know there's a long-standing theory that Pamela Voorhees was possessed by Jason in the first movie, and that's why, you know, she did what she did, and she's like speaking through him. What if Jason possessed Roy Burns? I mean, Jason Goes to Hell shows that he can possess people. We're making up continuity as we go along. There's no reason to suggest that Jason did not possess Roy Burns and that he was simply a possessed Jason Voorhees. And even if that's not the case, I still find Roy Burns to be a pretty interesting character, and the kills alone and the vibes alone, Part 5 is an extremely fun movie. You know what? I might even watch Friday the 13th Part 5 right fucking now after I finish this video.
Say that, please say that.
I already said it,
You're
man.
being a fucking dick. Like, just on some... You're mad, he took your fucking kill.
Hey! You dick.
That was good.
Bug, bro. It went in my eye.
If we go with that one, I just want you to remember that that's the take that you wanted us to go with.
I just want you to remember that this is your birthday present. I don't want to go with any take. I don't want to do it.
I'm just going to say, it's going to be seen by 100,000 people, maybe more.
That's an exaggeration.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're downplaying it.
I think we'll get 5 views max.
Say, hey, you fucking dick.
Hey, you fucking dick.
Yeah, you nailed it, and the camera wasn't on you.
It's because it wasn't on me. It's hard when the thing's looking at me.
Okay, number 5 on my list is Friday the 13th, 2009, the remake. This movie, you ask me on the right day, I would say it's my favorite one. Everything past this point is in my favorite horror movies of all time category. Like, we have stepped into that realm. Friday the 13th, 2009, when it comes to Jared Padalecki, from some Supernatural fame, which I'm a big fan of that show. I love his presence in this film. Friday the 13th, Part 9. Did I say Part 9? 2009, the remake of Friday the 13th. I hate that I have to call it that because it really isn't a remake. It's just another Friday the 13th movie that ignores a lot of continuity is really all it is. Because, it repeats beats from Friday the 13th 1, 2, 3, and 4. And kind of combines them all into just a really tight package that has a lot going on. It has everything I want, though. Amazing kills. An amazing Jason, who we're going to come back to later. Atmosphere is on point. I love the 2009 atmosphere also because I'm nostalgic for it. I was 12 years old, or 13, or whatever, when this movie fucking came out. I saw it twice in theaters. It was the first Jason movie I got to see in theaters. And to me, it did not matter that it was a remake. It was a fucking Jason movie. I wanted to see it. Sam, I love him in the movie, or Jared Padalecki, whatever the fuck. He plays Clay. I don't know. He plays Sam Winchester in the movie. And the atmosphere is on point for being like a 2000s horror film. But I also just think that like all the other characters, like Aaron Yu, who was in, I think, Disturbia, and the fucking dude who plays Trent, who's from like Transformers or whatever. All these characters are memorable. They're likable. And their kills mean something because they felt like they mattered to the story. It felt like I got attached to them, and it felt like when they died, we lost something. And that's what a kill should be. It should be like someone died, And also, I think it has a really thrilling climax from the chase from the house through the woods, into the tunnels, out to that like abandoned school bus, and then onto the turf again, where it starts storming like a true Friday the 13th movie should, where it's storming at the end, and then fucking getting to like that wood chipper, and then you get Sam Winchester fighting Jason. I can't not like this movie. What is the thing I like the most about it? Jason in this movie. Derek Mears will always be my Jason. Not because he's the first one I saw in theaters, and because I saw the movie twice. I love, though, his jacket. I love he runs when he needs to. He walks when he needs to. He uses all manner of weapons. He's also smart. He's not just a fucking Luddite that lives out in the woods. He's not a lumbering zombie. He's a guy. He's a survivalist. He has a fucking bow and arrow. He has traps. He has his, like, I know people say, like, oh, I don't like that Jason sets traps. What the fuck? He built a fucking house in the second movie. Like, I'm just like, what are you talking about? Jason is a smart guy, like he lives off the fucking land. This is the first Jason that really felt like that. There's also times where like Jason would like if he had that chick in the headlock and he's like sitting there listening to people outside the door and she's like screaming, he's got her mouth covered, and he's got that moment of like where he's thinking of like what to do, and then he fucking slams her onto those fucking deer antlers. He is just such a violent man. And he feels almost animalistic. And I love that energy. He is my favorite Jason. It's my favorite. I know I said part 7 was my favorite design. I really like part 9, though. I love that jacket. I love that he's got like a sheath for the machete on the side of it. But he'll use axes and fucking ice picks and bow and arrows and fucking hammers and, whatever the fuck. Tying the chick over the fireplace, over the campfire, and burning her, and then the dude gets stuck in the bear trap and he fucking kills that guy. Like, it's just, he's so smart. And you're like, you feel like when you're in his woods, you're in his element and he's fucking in charge. And I've always loved that tone of the movie. This movie was not afraid in 2009 to show a lot of sex, positive messaging, to show a lot of just like people having fun and hanging out, and it had that Friday the 13th vibe that I think a lot of people would say, oh, you can't do that anymore. Yes, you fucking can, because Friday the 13th 2009 did it, and it was fucking awesome, and I love the movie. Oh, fuck. Can you help me get it in my...
Oh, I don't want to.
Hey, it sucks wearing it too, just saying.
You disgust me right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm just supposed to get in the jacket or the...
Get the thing in my shirt. That's to touch and connect to my skin.
To your skin? You're wearing 3 shirts. Fucking Jesus.
Here, what if I do this?
That'll be easier, I guess. It's already sweaty. It's literally already wet.
Mm-hmm.
Is there hairs?
Yeah.
No, I think that's like your hair.
Yeah.
Just like, I thought it had maybe like hairs coming.
Jason does have hair. Is it touching my back or is it touching my shirt?
I don't know. I think it's...
It doesn't feel like it's on me at all.
Oh, I'm like repulsed by you right now. It's on you.
Is it?
Yes.
It just doesn't feel like it is.
Bro.
congealing around my cheeks and stuff. Fuck, my goddamn.
This is what he wanted as a birthday present, by the way, guys. This was his request.
Yeah, I want to see Serena kill Jason. If I like got mutated and like this was just how
I would not love you anymore.
Really? That's where we draw the line.
If you're ugly, I wouldn't like you. So that's like...
What if his head is actually shaped like this?
It's not.
You don't know that.
You look like one of those, like, you're posing in like a thing that's shaped like a pumpkin and like a pumpkin patch.
Yeah, you stick your head through the little thing. No, that's not, you're blowing it out of proportion.
You're kidding, it literally matches your skin tone exactly.
Hey, that's why I'm fit to be the character.
Yep.
It was meant to be. Fuck! Bug! Ah! Okay, so number 4 was when it got really, really difficult for me to decide, because these next 2 movies mean a tremendous deal to me, and I even have it written on my list that I have them like switched around, because I was like, oh shit, no, that one. Oh no, that one. And I was like, okay, scribble that one out, flip it around. So I just want you guys to know that. Number 4 on my list is Friday the 13th, Part 6. How do you do it? It's like... I can't do it. Whatever. Friday the 13th Part 6 at one time also inhabited the spot of my favorite. I think what ended its status as being my favorite was I went through and I watched all of them again with other people, and I was like, man, Part 1, yeah, Part 2, yeah, Part 3, yeah, Part 4, yeah, Part 5, yeah. And I got to Part 6 and I felt something weird, where it was like that was the first one that broke the chain of them feeling like serious movies. And that's where, like, once you start to delve into this meta territory where we're making fun of what we're doing, it does lose something. You do lose something by doing that. And I think Part 6, honestly, its weakest elements at this point are its meta elements. Why is it still so high up on the list, though? Because I love Tom Matthews as fucking, I about to say Crispin Glover. I love Tom Matthews as Tommy Jarvis. He's amazing. And he's one of the best protagonists we have had in the entire franchise. I think also, I love Megan. I think her name is... She doesn't do conventions, but I love that character, and she's really fun, and she keeps the energy up, and you care about her, and when she's in danger, you're like, oh no, don't kill her, you know, and it's like, so she's great, and she makes a great companion for Tommy to go on this adventure with. And that's the other thing, adventure. It feels like an adventure. It feels like, you know, oh, we got the douchebag cop, and Jason's on the loose, and he's killing these people, and there's the people at the camp, and Tommy's trying to do his thing, and there's this girl he's teaming up with, and, you know, whatever the fuck. And it feels like there's just a lot going on. It never feels like it slows down. The pace is good. I love the design for Jason with the fucking tool belt, and he's like, you know, a zombie for the first time, and it just is really like a fun summer 80s slasher movie vibe. It's got Alice Cooper music, which I used to be super into. And I really, before I started filming this video, actually, I was listening to Alice Cooper, just sitting on my fucking, my lawn, drinking beer, listening to Alice Cooper, trying to get kind of like into the vibe. And whenever I hear Alice Cooper, I associate it with Friday the 13th, when really only Part 6 is the one that had all that stuff in it. And Part 6 was kind of like just this focal point where Friday the 13th was at a fever pitch, so to speak, and it was so popular, and I think the return of Jason certainly helped. But I just like those elements, like the fucking Jason, the James Bond parody at the beginning, and you know where they're in the van and she's like, I've seen enough horror movies to know that any guy in a mask isn't friendly, and like just like these meta elements. Those are the weakest parts. Also, the kills are sort of lacking, and I used to think they were so cool because I think like, oh yeah, when he fucking like crushes that cop's head, and when he bends that cop in half, and when he's killing the guys at the fucking paintball place. But it all, when you're older, feels very much like cartoon shit. It feels like, you know, they're smacking you over the head with the fact that it's all a cartoon, it's all make-believe, it's all fucking for fun. And I don't like that stuff. But it does air on Universal Monsters territory. I've watched this movie. I love watching movies in black and white. I know that's kind of a weird film snob thing, but I watch a lot of movies in black and white. And I've watched Friday the 13th Part 6 in black and white before, and it is amazing. It feels so much like a Universal Monsters film. And there are so many references to Universal Monsters stuff, especially the opening scene in this movie is one of the strongest in the entire franchise, and it is a one-to-one opening scene of Frankenstein meets the Wolfman when they resurrect Larry Talbot. And I love those elements. The fog on the lake and the leaves blowing, and, you know, it doesn't really feel like summer too much, but it feels like a fucking fun monster movie. And that's why it's so high up. And also, I want to say the climax of the movie where Tommy battles Jason on the lake with the ring of fire is fucking iconic. It is so iconic. And that's how I think a lot of this movie is iconic. Real quick before we move on, also, I want to bring up CJ Graham as Jason. I used to think he was really good. And I still think he is. But looking back on it, he really feels like a guy that does not care about Jason. And that's fine. You don't have to care about Jason to play Jason. But I met him in person once. And my interaction with him was odd. He very much felt like a person who absolutely voted for Donald Trump and who hates trans people and who is racist to an extent, and probably thought that I was a pussy when I met him. And that's his business, but I just want to bring that up. Like the energy he gave off to me. I went up to meet him, actually the night before I met him, because it was at the same convention for like a full weekend, and we were in line to meet Kane Hodder, and I was with my little sisters, and he kept like butting into the line to mess with my little sisters, and I thought that was so funny. I was like, oh, he's just trying to be nice or whatever. My little sisters were nervous of him, and he just wanted to give him a fist bump or whatever. And I was like, you know who that is, right? I'm like, that's Jason from Part 6. And they were just kind of like, okay, whatever. But he had this like kind of tone where he was sort of pissed off that my little sisters didn't want to meet him, but they wanted to meet Kane Hodder. And it was a weird kind of vibe to pick up on. And then the next day I was like, well, I gotta meet him because I want to meet all the Jasons that are here. And I told him, I was like, hey man, Part 6, one of my favorites, you know? And he like gave me a fist bump. But then he immediately pivoted away from talking to me and talking to my girlfriend about her red hair. And talking about redheads forever. And then he was like, I was like, you know, eventually trying to like butt in like, hey, you know, she don't really give a fuck about you. I like you. Can I get a fucking autograph or whatever? And I gave him my picture that I wanted him to sign. And he's like, I got some naked pictures of my wife too if you want me to sign those. And I was like, and he just kind of stared at me. And it was really fucking awkward. And then at a certain point, like when we took our picture, he was like, stand up straight. And I was like, okay, I am. You know, I wasn't about to have some fucking, like, just because he's like a fucking Jason actor, I wasn't about to have him. I was like, I am. And he's like, not to me. It was just like a weird interaction, you know? And I'm like, I got the vibe from him. I don't know what all CJ Graham has done other than Part 6. I got the vibe from him, though, that he very much, like, did this just because, like, you know, whatever, you know, put the fucking mask on me. Then he did the movie and he went about his life, and then it turned out later in life he could go to conventions and just get easy money meeting fucking losers like me, and he took it. And in the movie I watch it and I'm like, he really doesn't have any kind of Jason mannerisms. He didn't really bring anything new to the table other than being a zombie Jason. And that was something that was out of his control. His performance itself is pretty lackluster, in effect. He's almost kind of robotic. And he didn't feel very large. However, in person, he's fucking huge, which is crazy. But in the movie, he feels sort of small. He's fine, is what I'm trying to say. But, like, he really kind of in person was sort of rude, and I didn't really fuck with his vibe. And I feel like if we had hung out and he wasn't Jason, I wouldn't have liked him at all. I think I only liked him because he was Jason. I just wanted to bring that up because I'm trying to be thorough. I'm trying to cover my whole Friday the 13th fucking spectrum. I'd also like to bring up, since I brought my interaction with Derek Mears, my interactions with Kane Hodder. I've met him twice, and he is fucking amazing. And my interactions with Derek Mears, he was so cool. He was so cool. We talked about Predator and Swamp Thing and Holliston. I mean, he was so fucking nice. And Derek, if you ever see this, we were hanging out and you got so excited talking about the hypothetical Friday the 13th Part 2 that you were gonna do that you spit on me. I just was kind of like, But I didn't care because you're Derek Mears, and it was like we were both so excited about what we were talking about. And so, as a person that has met all these Jason actors before, and has met CJ Graham, he was the shittiest one to meet. So I wanted to bring that up real quick. But again, I mean, Part 6, I've got it at fucking number 4 on my list. I clearly am a fan of the movie. I just feel like I'm bitching a lot, but it's just because, like, what else can I say? Oh, it's really fun, the atmosphere's fun, the kills are cool, blah, 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 blah. Everyone says that shit. Everyone fucking says that shit. I gotta pee again. It's because of this fucking beer. I love beer so much, so I can't stand not drinking it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. That. Ow. I'm sorry.
Did you hear that?
I actually kind of did.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
All I did was go like that. You alright?
Yeah, that kind of felt good.
Hell yeah.
What the fuck, man? That was weird.
Was that actually a noise that happened?
Yes! That was my neck.
Oh,
you fucking popped my neck.
Damn it,
I hope that fucking picked up on the camera. I'm getting hyped up. These next 3 movies, I debated for fucking ever of how to rank these next 3. Damn it. Even looking at them, I'm like, no, the ranking is wrong. But I truthfully just love these fucking movies. I love these fucking movies. So I'm going to try my best. And if you have a problem with it, I would politely invite you to take a big fucking fuck up the ass, because I love these next 3 movies, and you're not going to tell me any otherwise. I have watched these next 3 movies so many times. All the other ones, yes. But if it was like, okay, you can only pick 3 to keep forever and the rest cease existing, these are the 3 I'm picking. Plain and simple. They might even be the 3 I pick of a lot of franchises. That's how much I love these next 3 movies. Alright, and I'm done apologizing to you fucks, because these are 3 really good movies, and I'm not going to be entertaining arguments to the contrary. I'm simply going to be gushing about how much I like these next 3 movies. This is already running very long, and I got 3 left to talk about, and they're all 3 that I have really intense fucking memories with. Alright. Number 3 is Freddy vs. Jason. You guys don't even know. You don't even know how long I've been waiting to talk about my love. My fucking love of Freddy vs. Jason. Even though this is number 3 on the list, I would like to say right here and right now that, like, if I can only pick one from this entire series, I think I'm going to pick this one. There is an argument to be made that if I can only pick one movie to watch for the rest of my life, Freddy vs. Jason would cross my mind as a movie I would potentially pick. Plain and simple. And it's my pick. It is my pick. No one can be like, are you fucking crazy? I'm about to illuminate why I love this movie so much. And if you're disrespectful in the slightest about it, I will know that you love eating poop in your private time because you don't want to have empathy for other people. That's simply it. If you don't like the fact that I like Freddy vs. Jason as much as I do, it's because you don't love me. And I take that personally. I find that as a personal slight against me. And if you don't like Freddy vs. Jason as much as I like it, I also see that as a personal slight. So basically, Freddy vs. Jason came out in 2003. 2003 is my favorite year, I think, ever. Because, and I'm talking like all of human existence, because I think we peaked as a society in 2003. What was common in 2003? Nu metal was a big thing. Hot Topic still had this logo, all right? Chicks still wore super low-rise pants with the thong that would ride up and like kind of like whale tail over it. Ugh. Love that. Wrestling was at its best in 2003. It was really good in 2003. I was only 5 years old at the time. But I would go to a mall and I would see a chick that looked like this, and it would alter my brain chemistry forever, okay? And again, Hot Topic's logo looked like this, all right? So Freddy vs. Jason coming out in that year really captures that energy. Freddy vs. Jason is American Pie. It is House of Wax. It is Friday the 13th. It is also Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy vs. Jason is WrestleMania XIX, the best WrestleMania in my opinion. Freddy vs. Jason is the Hot Topic logo that looks like this. Freddy vs. Jason is nu metal. It is rap metal. It is, you know, it is Halloween. It is summer. It is winter. It is spring. Freddy vs. Jason is the blood that pumps through my veins. Freddy vs. Jason is the air that is in my lungs. Every movie I ever watch, I want to have a cool fight scene, hot women, cool kills, a cool soundtrack. I would like for it to have Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees in it. I would like for it to have a cool Halloween, fall, rainy, dead leaves atmosphere. I would like to have it feel like American Pie in the sense that I feel like I'm hanging out with my friends. I feel like the stakes are low, but also something, it is just high enough that I can get invested and care about the people contained within the film. I just really, really, really fuck with the atmosphere of this movie, and it is punctuated by a fucking incredible fight scene between Freddy and Jason. Two, in fact. They fight in the dream realm and they fight in the real world. And as a kid, looking at that DVD in Blockbuster with Freddy on one side and Jason on the other and a big versus between them, it awakened something in my autistic, undiagnosed, ADHD-riddled brain. All I could think about was Freddy vs. Jason. I looked outside my window and I saw Freddy fighting Jason. I'd be riding in the car and I would imagine them fighting on the sidewalk. I would hear a song and I would imagine it taking place in the movie Freddy vs. Jason. And this is all before I'd seen the fucking movie. I would go to Walgreens and I would see decorations of Freddy and Jason. I just was obsessed with this shit, and when you put the two of them together, it just did something to my fucking brain. Plain and simple. I am the only person on earth that feels this way. I love this movie. Laurie Campbell is one of the most underrated final girls in existence, because Laurie has... Let's talk about the superficial things, then I'm going to talk about the things that I really like about Laurie. Laurie has the most beautiful pair of boobs in the entirety of all of horror fiction. I'm going to go ahead and give that award to her. She's also gorgeous. Her performance is great. And not only that, she is not swallowed up. When you have a movie with Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees in it at the same time, and there is some sort of promise that they're going to fight at the end, your expectation is going to be inevitably that they will fight. And so the entire time you're watching these teenagers talk about Freddy and Jason, you're probably going to be thinking, like, come on, can't Freddy and Jason fight each other already? And the fact that these characters, but specifically Laurie Campbell, does not get swallowed up into that, and you cease caring about her, that is a fucking feat. I'd say she's top 3 final girls of Friday the 13th. Alice, Tina, Laurie. Suck a dick. That's my opinion. Alright? Right there. Laurie's amazing. The other characters are fine, but I mean, she really is the linchpin, and I know people bitched that she's the one that cuts off Freddy's head at the end of the movie. She's the final girl! It's a slasher movie at the end of the day. Even though Freddy and Jason are gonna fight, at the end of the day, the person delivering the killing blow should be fucking Laurie. It should be the fucking final girl. Welcome to my world, bitch! Boom! It's so cathartic. I love that sequence. The fact that she is also drop dead fucking gorgeous, an absolute 10 out of 10, absolutely helps. And the fact that she's also from the era of 2003, and that's the era, when I was 5 years old, that's when I had my first kind of sexual awakening. For real. I mean, let's be real here, I masturbated for the first time probably when I was either 4 or 5. It was at minimum 4, at maximum it was 5. It was in that realm. And so this movie being in 2003, even though I didn't see it for many years after the fact, it captures a very specific time in human history that also features things that I love infused within it, like Typo Negative and Freddy and Jason and Slipknot and fucking, whatever. It captures those things, and it just reminds me of like almost my awakening in my consciousness. Of my earliest memories are of a time period that looks similar to Freddy vs. Jason. And so when I say that Freddy vs. Jason is always in my thoughts, always, I'm not exaggerating. And like, if I could only pick one movie of the Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th franchises, two franchises that I love so much, I would pick this one. I don't do that lightly. It's because I love Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees as a character so much. I don't want to be without either one of them, and I'll pick the movie that has them both in it. It's always better when we're together. Plain and simple. Okay, so I've gushed enough about the like weird like psychological reasons why I like the movie. Let's talk about more about like why just the movie itself I like. I do love the fall setting. I love that Jason Voorhees is being challenged in some way. I know it's like, oh, it's dumb because Freddy's like doing a thing. No, it's not though. The reason for Freddy to bring Jason back and make them meet each other, honestly, it's a miracle. It's as good of a reason as it fucking is. It makes perfect sense. Yeah, I need someone to remind them about Freddy. I found this other guy that's also fucking weird, and I sent him to Elm Street, and I did it using Jason's mom, which, as we know, works perfectly for Jason to fall for, like in part 2. I mean, that's like primordial Jason Voorhees lore. The fact that the movie exists, we should be so thankful of. But the fact that the movie is as good as it is, and maintains their lore individually as good as it does, that's a fucking miracle. And someone's gonna be like, oh, but Jason's afraid of water. He's never been afraid of water, ever. Oh, yeah? Well, you're correct. But I would like to bring up that in this very same movie, Jason gets rained on, Jason walks out of a lake, he does all these things where he's not afraid of water. It is strictly in the dream realm that Jason is afraid of water in this movie, which makes me think that it is a subconscious fear. Freddy even says, to go a little deeper, and he like sticks his like little finger blade into Jason's head. He is very obviously digging into Jason's subconscious. The fact that Jason is afraid of water makes perfect sense, and also it would be there deep inside of his subconscious for Freddy Krueger, the dream demon who knows your every thought and your every deepest fear, to be able to find and pull out. It was hidden. He couldn't tell it at first, but it was in there. That makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. It does not contradict anything. It's not like Jason in the same movie like sees a puddle and is like, oh. He's not like that. It's in the dream when your subconscious is being represented that he's afraid of water, so it makes perfect sense. Freddy Krueger, I know we're talking about Jason right now, but I need to talk about him. Robert Englund going out on this movie is perfect because the fact that he got to play Freddy 7 times before this is spectacular, and the fact that he got to also represent Freddy in this movie is essential. We'll talk about Jason in a second. Freddy, The makeup is incredible. The sweater is incredible. This is probably... I don't mean to be getting a lot of shit for this. This is probably fucking Robert Englund's best performance as Freddy. It really is like his swan song, and it's so perfect. It's so perfect. He goes out on the highest note possible. He's never looked scarier. He's never been meaner. He's never had a better balance between comedy and being scary. He's funny, but he's also really fucking frightening and really goddamn menacing and mean in this movie. It is the perfect balance, and the fact that they knew to make him the antagonist and Jason sort of the protagonist, because Jason's more sympathetic and he's kind of like a little kid. He's got a baby brain. And that he can be manipulated and taken advantage of. And Freddy would be the kind of asshole to take advantage of him. That makes a perfect dynamic. And the fact that they have a fight in the dream realm that makes Freddy shine, and a fight in the real world that makes Jason shine, that's also incredible. I also want to bring up Ken Kersinger as Jason. I went through a stint where I also was mad at this movie, even though I loved the movie as much as I did, and I watched it every day for such a long time. Ken Kersinger as Jason frustrated me because Kane Hodder didn't get to be Jason. And if I could go back, would I change it? Yeah, I think I still would. I would like Kane Hodder to be Jason in this movie. I think he earned it. But I think we would be taking away from Ken Kersinger as Jason to say that he sucks, because he doesn't. It's just a bummer that Kane Hodder didn't get to. Ken Kersinger is a good Jason. He is. The design is great. I love the jacket. That's also kind of become like a staple of Jason, and I've always liked it. The jacket is nice. He's humongous. He's wearing the Frankenstein boots, and I know that bothers people, but as a Universal Monster fan, making Jason feel more like Frankenstein and make Freddy feel like the Wolfman, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, I'm gonna fuck with that shit. And I do think that the fight scene between them is as good as it is because they kind of leaned into that. They wanted a big, honking, lug, muscle guy and a smaller, scrappy kind of, it just is a good dynamic. It's pro wrestling, it's monster movies, it's comic books, it's everything. And Ronnie Yu, for all of his faults, I think the fact that he was not a diehard fan allowed him to just make a good movie. And he had done Bride of Chucky, and I know people said, well, why does Bride of Chucky qualify him to do Freddy vs. Jason? Because he had just shown you that he can make a good 2000s era Y2K type horror film, but also that he can balance two horror movie icons. Because Tiffany was new at the time, but he made her feel just as important as Chucky. And I think that's why they picked him. I think they said, this guy understands making the two characters feel unique. One's red, one's blue, one's fire, one's water, one's small, one's big, one's talkative, one's silent. These just like two sides of the same coin, but they go so well together like a yin and a yang. He understood these things. And he also understood that fight scene needed to deliver, and it absolutely did. When I was a kid watching Freddy vs. Jason, and Jason kicks down that door, and Freddy had possessed Freebird, the Jason Mewes character in the film. He had the needles behind his back, and he's like, come on, dog, come to Freddy. And he fucking like sticks him, and then Jason fucking like falls over, and then he like cuts the guy in half or whatever. I thought that was the fight, because I'd grown up watching Universal Monster movies and all sorts of things where they would promise you something and then they wouldn't deliver on it. Okay? And so I was like, oh, fuck! I was pissed. I wanted to see Freddy and Jason fucking fight each other. And then Jason wakes up in the dream realm. And Freddy's in the dream realm. And he's got you're just a big stupid dog that can't stop eating. And Jason's all like, he's getting pissed. And then, they fight, and he cuts his arms off, and he grows them back, and then he goes like this, or I think he goes like, he's got the glove, and he's like, let's fucking fight. And I was like, oh shit, and he catches the machete and throws, and then they start fucking going at it. Oh, fuck me. It was so cool. But then it was like, that ends, and you're still on cloud 9, and then Jason fucking flips over the table in the cabin that's on fire, and they get that shot where they finally stand there, and there's fire, and they're in a cabin, and like fucking like nu metal is blaring. Oh my god! It might be the best thing human beings have ever created. when they're fighting and he puts him through the window and he runs him through the window and then he throws him and then Freddy comes back and he's like, how sweet, dark meat. You know, it's just, I love it. And there's the leaves and the fog on the ground and they fight. And it never goes too long. It never goes too short. It's the kind of fight you want to rewatch again and again and again. And they knew to like, Freddy being kind of indomitable in the fight makes perfect sense because even in Freddy's own movies, he does have a little bit of abilities when he comes to the dream realm. People forget this. In the very first movie, Nancy brings him to the dream realm and he's like on fire and he's fine or whatever. And then oh, maybe it's a dream, maybe it's not, whatever. In part 2, he possesses Jesse and then he's got abilities in the real world. He's making the pool heat up. He's making the fence hot. He's doing all these things, whatever. In part 6, they explicitly bring him into the real world and he's climbing on the ceiling and he's shape-shifting between normal Freddy and Demon Freddy, and she's stabbing him with stuff, and he's fine. So he is, like, not totally normal. So them fighting, like, whatever. But then him, like, going rounds with Jason, but then needing to use, like, construction equipment and stuff to kind of, like, emulate his dream realm abilities, where he's, like, in a one-on-one fight, Jason will fuck me up. But I'm smarter, and I'm faster, and I'm meaner. It's, like, the dynamic between the two characters just felt so strong, and it was so bloody and so cathartic, and it was just like this release of like a celebration of both characters, and so it's such a strong way, honestly. If they never continued, I know they both got remakes, if they never continued after, it would still feel just as cathartic. It would be like, yes, this is what these guys fucking deserve, you know? I love Freddy vs. Jason. I love it so much. I hope I made a coherent point. I'm also... I've got like 40 seconds left on this fucking tape, and like... I thought long and hard about what I would say when I got to Freddy vs. Jason, inevitably in my Dante's Drive-In career, and I hope I did it justice, because, man... I really do. It's on my Letterboxd top 4 for a reason. I will watch this movie anytime anyone suggests it at the drop of a hat, and I will enjoy it front to fucking back. I always feel so good after, so good during, so good before. This movie is my everything. So, moving on. Huh?
Was it better?
Yeah. It was gooder.
All right, we're done. We're done.
We're not done.
No?
What else do we have to do?
A bunch more, but I almost feel like I'm done.
Oh my god.
You want to keep going?
Wait, don't we have to get it done?
You're right. You're right.
You're manipulating me into saying that we have to continue doing it, so it's not your fault.
Got me there.
Got it?
We got 2 left, and we just gushed about Freddy vs. Jason. And even though I love these next 2 movies over Freddy vs. Jason, when we're talking about Friday the 13th specifically, these 2 movies have absolutely earned their spots. And so we're going to talk about them as much as we can. So, my number 2 is Friday the 13th, the original. When I think Friday the 13th, I think about roasting hot dogs over a fire, s'mores, camping, swimming in a lake, you know, fun summer vibes, being told scary stories around the campfire when you're a kid and stuff. These are nostalgic memories for me. And Friday the 13th Part 1 nails that feeling. It nails the feeling of hanging out at a lake, getting to know people, having them get killed off in really gruesome ways, having a twist revealed, an exciting climax. It is such a concise, neat little movie. And I know there are people talk about how there's a lot of shoe leather in the movie, how there's a lot of like shots that just kind of bleed on and on and on. Because they're trying to like kind of like stretch out the runtime. Like, you know, I forget her name, but the first character that's killed, she's a throat slashed. She's like walking down the street. People always bring this shot up. It just goes on and on. I love it though, because it reminds me of the town I grew up in, Bridgewater. And also like those, like you can just feel that summer aura. Like birds chirping, you know, dragonflies in the air, summer vibe. She got a camping thing on, and it's like it is just vibes, but that's kind of all you really need at a certain extent when the vibes are this strong. Friday the 13th Part 1 has vibes for days over any of these movies. That's why I have it at where it's at. I do like these characters. I do care when they die. These kills, all of them are so memorable because they're not like they put a ton of thought into them. They're just like, that's how that character died. And sometimes it's really graphic, and sometimes like the build up and the suspense to it is actually kind of frightening. And the kill itself is so graphic that, like, if you haven't seen all these movies after it where we've kind of made the kill like the liquid nitrogen kill or whatever, that would feel out of place in Friday the 13th Part 1 because Friday the 13th Part 1 at its core is kind of like a murder mystery. And it is a movie about what it feels like to be camping and being told a scary story. And in the sense that it's a scary story, Friday the 13th Part 1 is the scariest of all these movies. None of them come close to it because it is still just people in a camp getting killed and you don't know who's doing it. And when it's revealed, you're kind of like, okay. But then when more is revealed, you're like, oh, this is kind of more frightening because this is a very severely mentally ill woman that has been running around the camp who has a lot of trauma relating to something that has nothing to do with me. But now I very clearly understand. And it's like, it just has this uneasy feeling where, like, when people are getting murdered, you're like, well, I understand why she's killing us, and that's what makes it kind of scarier, you know? And it's not like Halloween in that sense. If people say it's a Halloween ripoff, it really isn't. Instead of the suburban neighborhood, it's camp. Instead of Halloween, it's the middle of summer. Instead of a fucking crazy person in a mask, it's a woman. It's a mother who has had something ripped from her that is very human. And makes her relatable. And that makes it scarier. It really does. And so, like, it's not just, oh, I'm putting it at number 1 or number 2, really. I'm not even having it at number 1. I have it at number 2 because of, you know, it's the original, so it's the best. It's not. But it is one of my favorites, and I watch it the most because of just those vibes. If this movie had Part 7 Jason walking around in it, it would be my absolute favorite. Because I just, like, love all the characters and all the kills and all the atmosphere and the music and the pace and the payoff so much. But I do just miss the fact that Jason isn't in the movie. But I do like it as that foundational piece because it's the first chapter in Jason's story as we are introduced to him. And also, that ending is so fucking frightening, and when you watch it in a vacuum with no other Friday the 13th movies, like, then he's still there, is so, oh my fuck. When he jumped out of that lake, I mean, like, if you don't know about Hockey Mask, Jason, and all these things, just that movie, she talks about her dead son and how he drowned in the lake. And all these horrific things are happening in this eerie vibe. And nothing supernatural happens until that very ending sequence. Is it a dream? Is he really there? We don't know, is the point. I know people have tried to be like, no, it's obviously a dream because he's in the next movie and whatever. I don't know. Because there's bubbles at the end of the lake. At the end of the movie, in the lake, there's bubbles that come up. Those were shown for a reason. Is he under there? Is he a lake monster? I don't know, and it's frightening to think about. When I swam in a lake as a kid, I would think about this movie, and I'd think about Jason being down there, in the same way I'd think about Jaws being down there, or the Gill Man. And he was like a creature from the lake. And then, you know, the other movies happened, and you associate Jason as being like this hockey mask guy. But in this first movie, he was very much this ghost story. And the whole movie is payoff to that jump scare at the end. And that jump scare sticks with you after. It sticks with you when you rewatch the movie. You think about it when they're in the lake. You're like, is he down there? You know? And those kind of aspects, just in a vacuum, I really do fuck with Friday the 13th Part 1. And I just like every character feels like they get their moment to shine. And every character has a unique thing about them. And it's that undercurrent. I think I talked about, I remember which one I talked about it in. I think probably Part 5. But that undercurrent of sex and violence throughout the whole thing. And that's kind of like what makes the movie stick with you. Because those are two very primordial concepts. and you're watching these characters kind of go about their business at this lake, getting picked off one by one in extremely brutal ways, and it kind of just comes together in a really neat package, and it just leaves you with vibes. Honestly, I've been drinking a lot right now, and I would like to watch it right now. I think I said about one of the other ones, like, oh, I think I'll watch it right now. I think part 5. I think probably I'll watch part 1 and part 5 right now on my old fucking, you know, tube TV right here, because it would probably come off really well. That's the thing about these on VHS, they really do go like way harder. And Friday the 13th part 1, just that tape, you know, and like it's just, is it rewound? It is. I might give this another pass. I might screen this right now after I finish watching this. I really do fuck with Friday the 13th Part 1. Alright. I'm fucking tired. This is such a long drive-in. Number 1. My favorite movie of the entire franchise. You all know what it is because you used process of deduction, but let's talk about it regardless. The final chapter, part 4. This one, I know I said the thing about like if you could pick one from any franchise to watch forever and you can't watch any of the other ones, I said I'd pick Freddy vs. Jason because, like, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street. But this is one of those ones, in addition to like Nightmare on Elm Street, like part 4, that would make me really think twice. I don't know what it is about part 4. It's Halloween 4, you know, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. What's Child's Play part 4? Bride of Chucky. That's another one I really like. I mean, like, I really like part 4s for some reason. Paranormal Activity part 4 is like my favorite one of those. So, okay. Oh shit. The Friday the 13th, the final chapter, though, is the one that would give me pause. Because I'm like, it has everything. Everything. The vibes. The summertime vibes, the fall time vibes, the horror slasher camp vibes. Those are there. Great kills. Across the board, best kills in the whole series, in my opinion. Because they're not too exaggerated. They're not these like ridiculous things that just have so much whatever. They're just simple. A guy in the shower, Jason breaks through the shower, crushes the guy's head against the thing. Perfect. Girl in the fucking, you know, life raft and he stabs through the thing. You know, Jason hitting the machete and sliding down the machete. Just simple things. They just feel like things that could happen in real life. Characters that you care about. Across the board. From the teenagers that are just drinking beer, having sex, whatever, smoking weed, whatever. You care about them. You care about Tommy Jarvis. You care about Tommy's sister, who is fucking an absolute dime. Holy shit. Jason, the movie, Ted White as Jason, is everything I like about Richard Broker, combined with everything I like about Derek Mears, where he feels smart, he feels almost kind of sadistic, and he also feels dangerous, but then he can also feel like a child. And he's everything. He's a great Jason, and he doesn't really care about Jason. So he's able to portray a more human Jason, and I like that aspect of him. It has that fun, you know, Friday the 13th isms, the person with the banana that's weird, the guy watching the weird yoga video, the fucking Crispin Glover dance sequence where he's doing the weird thing. But it's also got that mean streak to it, where it feels like when someone dies, like you feel like a human's life was ended. It doesn't feel like a fucking cartoon. It feels like all of the best aspects, basically, of all the Friday the 13th movies put together, and if I can only recommend one of them to someone who's never seen any of them, this is the one I'm probably going to end up recommending. My battery's dying, and I don't want to put in a new battery, so I'm kind of wrapping this up quicker than usual, and it sucks because this was like the last one, but, you know, it is the way the cookie crumbles. Tommy Jarvis also, I think a lot of like horror movie fans can relate to him, and I think that they see themselves in him, and so when he's the kind of the protagonist and he's the one that defeats Jason, he doesn't feel like an annoying sidekick kid that whatever. He feels very much like us. We see ourselves in him. And, you know, I don't know. It's got everything else you want. It's got the people drinking beer, smoking weed. It's got panty shots. It's got sex. It's got whatever. It's got cool kills and a cool Jason. And it's got a fun movie that never really stops going. It feels like an American Pie film in the 80s. And then when characters conclude their story arcs and you finish caring about them, then they kill them off. And for maximum impact. And I love that aspect of it. So Friday the 13th, the final chapter, you know, really 1, 2, 3, and 4, if I just watch those and I don't watch the rest, I feel a satisfied, like a whole. Like I feel like I feel like this is a whole piece of art. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And all the other ones, I love them too, and I rank them, and obviously, I liked other ones more than the 1, 2, 3, and 4. But 1, 2, 3, 4 feels like such a strong, tight narrative with great kills, with whatever, and I just like those movies so much. But part 4 has everything I liked and said I liked about every other single one present in it. And I feel like I'm rushing through it. It's only because my battery is blinking at me that's going to die. Thank you guys so much for watching my Friday the 13th Dante's Drive-In ranking. I hope you guys enjoy my Serena versus Jason movie. I'm working really hard on it. It's something I've always wanted to do because I love Jason so much. And I've wanted to do a fan film for so long that this is the way I've decided to go about it because I'm a fucking weirdo. Thank you guys so much. I don't have anything else to say.
And then we'll hold that for a minute. Alex, really milk it, and then I'll punch her, okay? Damn, you stink.
You stink too.
All right, good. All right, you ready, Alex?
Yep.
And action. How was that?
Good.
You all right, Emma?
Yeah.
Okay. I just improv. I just riffed a few.
You actually killed me.
I barely did it.
That'd be crazy.
How did it look?
Pretty good.
I think if we could just do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, that's your sweat, by the way.
That?
You think I stink? That's your sweat.
Yeah, man, you were dripping on me.
Fuck! Did that pick up?
I don't know.
What was it?
Sweat, like 8 million drops.
A stream of
when
sweat.
You saw it.